All right, today we're doing something really special. We're going to witness the rebirth of America's very first production car, the 1896 Duryea motor wagon. And listen, this story, it's so much more than just nuts and bolts. It's about a promise, a seriously tough journey, and reviving a true piece of history. Let's dive right in.
So, it all kicks off with this number right here. Now, you'd think for a car this important, a genuine piece of American history, you'd be looking at a fortune, right? But believe it or not, this entire incredible project started with a price tag of just 1,100 bucks. I mean, wow, an astonishingly small price for such a legend. But this whole thing was never just about the money. Nope, it was sealed with a really simple but incredibly powerful promise to the person who sold it. I'll take good care of the Duryea. Just that one sentence, that's what set the stage. It raises the stakes for the entire massive restoration that's about to unfold. Okay, so the car is secured. Now comes phase one, the assessment. This is that moment, the moment of truth. Is this thing a priceless gem or just an impossible challenge? Let's find out. And yep, the first look pretty much confirmed everything, their hopes and their fears. The rust was everywhere, just like the seller said it would be. But, and this is the important part, underneath all that decay, there was a spark of optimism. The bones, the core structure, it looked solid. And you can almost hear them thinking, okay, we can work with this. So before you can build something this legendary back up, you gotta take it all apart. And this isn't just tearing it down. Think of it more like an archaeological dig, a super careful deconstruction where every single piece, down to the last washer, has to be documented and saved. And man, was this process methodical. Okay, so first up, the wheels come off. And right away, that's where they hit their first big snag. Next, the really tough part, wrestling that heavy engine out of the frame. And the whole time, every single nut, bolt, and bracket is being carefully organized. It's almost like they're creating a treasure map for themselves so they can put it all back together later. And here it is. This is that first big uh-oh moment. As soon as those wheels were off, you could just feel the concern. The corrosion on the wooden spokes, it was way, way worse than they thought. This was just the first of many hurdles they were going to have to clear. But hey, for every challenge, there was a victory. After that absolutely grueling process of getting the engine out, they were rewarded with this. Just look at it. The main frame was totally sound. What a massive relief, It was proof that all that backbreaking work was already worth it.
Okay, now we get to the real heart of the project. The car is in a million pieces, and each one of those pieces is about to go through the crucible. This is the phase where pure skill and just meticulous effort go to war against decades of decay. The metalwork alone was practically a science. You've got deep pitting from rust, right? Well, they use a special heat sealing technique to build a solid foundation. Then for all that surface rust, a perfect primer coat was absolutely key. And here's the cool part. To get it looking historically accurate, they didn't want it super smooth like a modern car. They were actually aiming for a specific orange peel texture, which is exactly how these cars looked back in the day. And the result? Oh, it was absolute perfection. The finish wasn't just a spot-on match for the original texture. It was also tough as nails. Seriously, ready to last another 100 years. And that's the key takeaway here, right? It wasn't just about making it look pretty. It was about making it last. So the metalwork was a huge win, but the woodworking, well, that was a whole other can of worms. A closer look at the wooden body showed these deep structural cracks. And the key connections, these things called mortise joints that basically hold the whole frame together, they were completely rotted through, just crumbling. But through some incredible repair work, filling, sanding, refinishing, they brought that wood right back to life. The color match for the original stain was just perfect, and that new finish made the beautiful wood grain just pop. Honestly, it looked even better than it did when it was new. All right, every single piece has been restored to its former glory, and now the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. It's time to put this giant, historic puzzle back together and turn this collection of parts back into a true masterpiece. And as they laid out all the parts for assembly, you can see the team just had to stop and appreciate the original craftsmanship. I mean, even after 100 years, the fine details on the brass castings are just stunning. It's a real testament to the incredible skill of the people who first built this thing. Now, putting the engine back in, that was a high-stakes, super precise operation. No room for error.
First, the flywheel gets seated and torqued down just right. Then, that gorgeous polished carburetor, a real centerpiece, is put into position. And then, ever so slowly, the heavy engine is carefully lowered, and they've got to align it perfectly with the mounting studs on the frame.
As all the big pieces started coming together, you can just tell the team was in awe of what they'd accomplished. The quality of this restoration is so high, it genuinely looks like it just rolled off the Duryea factory floor yesterday for the very first time. But hey, it's not just about looking good, right? Every single mechanical connection was checked and then checked again. I mean, you can see the list here, but what it all boils down to is this. Everything just worked. The tolerances were perfect, the bushings were tight. This thing wasn't being built as a static museum piece. It was being built as a fully operational, mechanically perfect machine. So we've seen the rust, we've seen the rot, and we've seen the rebirth. We are now at the final, most critical moment of this entire journey, the part where history comes alive. This is where all that blood, sweat, and tears comes down to one single make or break test. So this is it, the ultimate question. After hundreds of hours of taking it apart, restoring every piece, and putting it all back together, after that promise was made to take care of it, will this incredible piece of history actually run? And then, those three words everyone was holding their breath for. A spark. That's the very first sign of life from an engine that has been dead silent for decades. We've hit the turning point.
Two simple words, but they mean everything. They represent the complete and total success of this massive undertaking. It's not just coughing or sputtering, it's running.
And you can just feel the pure joy and relief in this moment. Just listen to that sound, that steady, rhythmic chug. That's the heartbeat of this machine, brought back from the dead. The team did it. That promise, it was kept.
You know, in the end, this was so much more than just a mechanical restoration. It was a resurrection. It's the perfect final thought to sum up this whole journey, taking a forgotten machine from the back of a garage and turning it into a living, breathing piece of history. It really is alive.